welcome back to my channel. It's Amanda. How are you today? It's real humid here today. It has rained for like 4 days and the humidity is at 91%, but it's not raining. So it's real sticky, real greasy. That's just how it is. What are you gonna do? We did need some rain. We've had enough, but we did need some rain. I bought some iced coffee the other day thinking it was coffee creamer. It's not. So my husband was picking up lunch in coffee creamer, apparently. Anyway, today we're going to be ranking the palettes that I used in June. I keep wanting to say March. What is wrong with me? June. There will be another ranking style video coming, ranking the makeup that I used last month, which was like all of the newest makeup to my collection. I will do that later, but just in the interest of not making this a 45-minute video. We're going to do the palettes that I used last month, which were the newest palettes to my collection. So if you're new, this year I'm trying to rotate through my palettes a lot more because it's really easy for me to just kind of stick with using the same palettes over and over. And then you should also know that my favorite makeup product is an eyeshadow palette. So I have, some might say too many, I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes and I don't always use all of them as much as I should. So this year I've been doing what I call a project palette. I'm not trying to pan anything, I'm not trying to finish anything. I'm just trying to get more use out of the palettes that I own, and I am kind of picking a different theme each month for the palettes that I want to use for that month. So in June it was the newest palettes to my collection and we're going to rank them. I will say that I didn't dislike any of these, but there were definitely some that I liked more than others. So that's how they're going to be ranked. I'm not going to be decluttering any of these. There are 11 palettes. At the bottom of the pile are these palettes from Makeup Revolution. These are the Friends, I think this is the third round of the Friends collaboration of the Forever Flawless palettes. I have said multiple times, the Makeup Forever, no, not Makeup Forever, the Makeup Revolution Forever Flawless formula is pretty much the only eyeshadow formula that I really enjoy from Makeup Revolution. So that is why I purchased both of these. I do also love Friends. It's one of my favorite TV shows. But the first palette is We Were on a Break, and this is the more bright palette. This palette is okay. I don't know if something has changed about the Forever Flawless formula or if I'm remembering it differently, but I didn't love this as much as I have previously loved and enjoyed using other Makeup Revolution Forever Flawless palettes, and I think I have 5 or 6 others. So I'm fairly familiar with the formula, and there's nothing wrong with this, but partially because these are brights, you know, those are always a little more tricky to work with, blend, formulate. I don't know how it works. I don't produce makeup. There was nothing wrong with these, but I just wasn't like as stoked about these as I was previous Forever Flawless formulas. And then also the other palette is called I'll Be There For You, and this is the more neutral palette. And I didn't reach for this as much simply because of the color story. So this is one instance where I kind of bought something that I knew I wasn't going to use a ton, but I just really wanted to. I used I think 5 of the shades. Six of the shades. Nothing wrong with it, but just, you know, it's just at the bottom of the list. It's fine. It happens. My voice was really squeaky there. I'm not sure what happened there. Next one is actually kind of surprising to me, and that is the ColourPop Wine and Only palette. I thought it would, first of all, I love these colors. I love berry colors on my eye color. It makes them look very green. I have sort of hazel green eyes, but these types of colors, or reds or pinks, they really make my eyes look green, and they just kind of look swampy and regular otherwise, and these types of colors make them look green. So I love these types of colors. The reason I didn't love this palette as much is because I feel like it could still be a monochromatic palette, but have more distinction between the colors. My daughter was looking at this one day and she said, "Are these two the same color?" And I said, "Well, technically no, but they're the same color. They're basically the same color. The distinction between the two colors isn't enough for both of those colors to be in here. So I wish there were maybe like one more matte in here, and then these were a little bit different. Otherwise, I do enjoy the colors that I used. I think I mainly used like this section of the palette. I did use this guy and this guy. So I used almost all of the colors, but this just isn't my favorite monochromatic palette. Next up we have the BH Cosmetics Trendy in Tokyo palette. I love this formula from BH Cosmetics. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the first travel palettes that they've released. And I feel like the formula gets better and better and better with each release. The avocado toast, the blueberry muffin palette. Oh my gosh, those are amazing. I know they're not a travel. I know it's not a travel series, but this like 16 pan formula. So I think this is one of the first ones. There's nothing wrong with this, but because these are bright, they look a little diluted on my eyes. They're not as impactful. I didn't use these over a white base or anything like that. I don't ever apply eyeshadow that way. I know that you can do that, but I just don't. And I've used brighter, particularly these green and yellow shades. I've used brighter shades with no white base and they've looked brighter. So I only used this palette like 3 times because I just wasn't really feeling it. But the colors just seem a little bit diluted with their pigmentation compared to some of the newer BH Cosmetics formulas. Next we have the ColourPop Lizzie McGuire What Dreams Are Made Of palette. It's very colorful. I love this color story. Again though, they're a little diluted. Mainly this green. I know it's a light green, but it just seems like, I just feel like it could be better. I don't know, it looks great there. Maybe I just wasn't patient enough in building it up. Normally I'm not one who complains about the mattes with the glitters in them, but for some reason in this palette, I really didn't enjoy them. I really liked this coral shade, but I just thought the glitter was annoying because I kind of wanted to use this as a matte, and normally you can, but there's enough glitter in this one, or shimmer I guess, that it was difficult to use. There's a pressed glitter in this one too. This guy, I didn't use that because I never used it. So this one does feel like it's pretty densely pressed, where there's more base to it, so it's not dry and chunky. I know it's weird, but this Ugh color is really beautiful. I really liked that the most, which is bizarre. I just felt a little, this palette was a little lackluster. Oh, I did like this Dear Diary shade. This was nice. This green shimmer, that was really nice. Next we have the ColourPop Limoncello palette, and the pans in this palette are much bigger than the other ColourPop palettes. I don't know why. I don't know anyone who's asking for larger pans. I think we all have enough eyeshadow at this point that we don't need larger eyeshadow pans. But this palette is lovely. I love this yellow. It's a nice deep yellow. And I love this blue. I love using these colors together. I absolutely didn't need this palette. I was distracted by these 2 colors. It's a very neutral palette with like 2 pops of color. There's nothing wrong with it. The formulas are nice. There's no glitters in it. And I really like this blue. It's like dusty cowboy blue. I love that. I guess I should say that palette was kind of the start of the... These are good. There's nothing wrong with these. They're just not my absolute favorite for the month. And that brings us to ColourPop Bambi and the Flower palette. This is the purples. It's a pretty simple palette. You can't do a ton with it. But the shades in here are very nice. This is sort of a duochrome, icy to pinky purple topper shimmery shade. Not a topper, shimmery shade. There are 2 mattes in here, and then this shimmer shade in the middle. And then this is one of those black shades with purple glitter in it. And I think that this is prettier because there's such a nice contrast with the purple and the black. It's just pretty. So I like this. I don't love the size of this palette just because it's so small and I feel like it's going to get lost. Next we have the Milani Gilded Getaway palette. This adorable mini bun. It's so cute. This is really nice. I am pleased to say that this is so much better than the previous Gilded palettes that I've used. There's still room for improvement, in my opinion. But this is so much better. I really love this color story. I love the warmth and the greens and the reds. And you can do a lot of, you can do sort of a monochromatic look if you would like. You can do a pretty neutral look. You can do a darker look. I really, really enjoy this palette. I bought mine at Ulta. I don't know if it's an Ulta exclusive, but really, really liked this guy. That's number 4. For number 3 is the ColourPop Wild Child palette. I love how deep and rich these browns are. You know, it's going to be great for people with darker skin tones. Obviously, I don't have a dark skin tone, but I still really enjoy using these colors because I like darker colors on me. If you have a darker skin tone, I think, you know, this will be lovely. There is a pressed glitter in here, but again, it's one of those really tightly pressed glitters so that it's almost like a metallic because the glitter is like really grounded in whatever base they use to make glitters. I don't know. I like the mixture of mattes and the shimmers. I feel like this color is not my personal favorite. I just want something, if it's going to be shimmery, I want it to be a little more metallic. But I know that's, you know, not everyone. This is a really nice bronzy shade. This is a really, really good palette. I like the formulas. The mattes are really blendable and pigmented. And the shimmers, you know, foil nicely because I foil everything. Number 2 is the Odin's Eye Alva palette. This is what I'm wearing today. And I'm really into Odin's Eye. I really, really loved the Norns palette. This came in the Odin's Eye mystery box. I was supposed to film an indie makeup haul like 2 months ago and I just haven't had time. So, spoiler alert, this was in it. I really enjoy this palette. It's very cool toned and purpley and mauvey. And if, like, this is a nice everyday palette for me because I'm still going to have color, but it's not going to be just a neutral brown. It's going to be a neutral purple because I use mauve as a neutral, you know, that's normal, right? But then there's like a fun orange and this like sunflower color is a really beautiful fiery orange color. I am really into this brand. I really want the Cat's Breath palette from the Saga of Freya. I'm trying to wait. Yeah. My absolute favorite palette for the month is the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyquist Club Nebula palette. The hype around this palette is so real. It is so pigmented, so blendable. This palette makes me feel kind of like a baddie. Like whenever I use this, I'm just like, yeah, you're kind of a baddie. I feel awesome when I wear this palette. I think that it's so great. I'm so sad that it's not going to be restocked any longer. I think that's so unfortunate. But oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. Every time I wear this, I think there is nothing you cannot do. So, you know, eyeshadow doesn't usually dictate that, but with this palette it does. So that is how I ranked the palettes that I wore in June. Let me know what your favorite palette from June was. Do you like ranking videos? This is the first one I've ever done, so it's probably, I probably did it wrong, but is there a wrong way to rank things? I mean, no. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.